Alright, welcome back everybody to Wargroove 2. I've recorded all these episodes previously, but apparently forgot to upload them. So, discovering this as of July 1st when I realized that the last 2 to 3 episodes haven't posted. So, we're going to combine this particular mission with the next one because it's just a short, cutscene type mission. 26 years ago, Cherrystone Castle, the invasion of 3019. For some reason, we've gone backwards in time to the medieval age despite progressing almost 1,000 years. There's no way, we gotta blow the bridge. But Lucia, don't worry about me. Now! Bloop. Dead, 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 dead. Don't let Lou's sacrifice be for nothing. Fortify those walls. What? Oh no, it's a crack in an enemy we didn't know that existed until the last episode. And now all of a sudden is popping up in the pre-war, the pre-current era. Oh no. Smush. That Kraken looks very alive for being part of the undead army. Help, help, said the villagers. That's overkill. Wonderful. I like how we have a pinkish color for the enemy color, even though it's clearly should be blue Felhelm. Sir Emmerich, what shall we do? I'm afraid we've done all we can, but at least the royal family is safe. Oh, hi, royal family. King Merciful.
Hello, old friend.
Hello, old friend. You should have retreated many, many weeks ago. But here you are in the front line. Balloons arrived too late, I'm afraid. Films, Bastilles aimed half the skies from here to Heavensong. You'll escape on foot then, by shadow. Hans, Gallus, escort the king and his family to Aldor City. Of course, my lord. Prepare at once.
What?
Emmerich, surely you need all the soldiers you can muster. Yeah, friend, even with all my soldiers at my side, we shall lose this battle. Best to save what we can, who we can.
Emmerich.
Emmerich.
There is no time.
Go! I shall hold them back with my bare hands if I must. Whatever it takes to defend you and your family. Mind you, Emmerich, if you remember from the Wargroove 1, he's a master of barriers. So these little diamond things that he has, he can use to create barriers. So he could very much use a barrier and escape from here. Emmerich, of all my boyhood friends, you. Well, see each other again someday. You're quite a road to travel before then.
Your Highness.
You should hear all about it next we meet. You liar. Not nice to lie to your boyhood friends. Ooh, that was vicious. Also, you ran the wrong direction. It's all for the best. See, if his cutscene had been correct, he would have ran this direction. Assuming that this is facing this way, and this is facing this way, and that's facing this way, and this is facing that way. Sir Emmerich, we won't hold much longer. Ugh. They're at the gates. Still some fight left in me. If I can summon a cherry stone behind the front lines, right here, which give the royal family time to escape. Shatter, shatter. Attack.
This should do the trick.
So normally, what you would do is you would stop here. You'd heal at this town here, but this is just a cutscene battle, so it doesn't really matter what you do. Also, you shouldn't have been losing life, as I've not been counterattacked yet. Blast! I'm too late. Now mind you, this dragon would probably fry the shit out of me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I will hold them as long as I can. What happens after? I leave to you. Sir! So this is an instant death, guaranteed. You would not do this normal battle. So the tail end here does it. It's wrong to have hoped for just a few more pages. Belhelm Warriors. It's Heaven Song. We're in Heaven Song, so this is obviously a flashback to Heaven Song. It's been 10 years. You left too soon after slaying my parents. I never got to introduce myself. Geez, it's been 10 years since your parents got slayed? Mother, father. I did that opposite. Should have been father, mother. In death, I know you yet watch over me. Please keep watching until sunrise. Let me avenge you. Let me bring you peace. This is all your humble daughter humble daughter asks. Humble.
A storm approaches.
Ah, yes, you do. A little weirded out by everybody, the fact that everybody in Heaven Song wears masks. Henry, is that really you? Oh, Sir Emmerich, be at ease. From here on out, only the dead need die. Yes, I'm pretty sure with that army that would be true. Heaven Song Palace, present day. I've not heard that story before. Not a fond memory. Yeah, almost dying is generally not a fond memory. And being rescued at the almost, well, we'll say the literal last second. Not a fond memory knowing that you're literally decided that instead of retreating backwards to heal, you've decided that you are going to end your life at the hands of possibly the strongest, well, definitely the strongest ground enemy, possibly the strongest enemy in this game. But it has a good ending thanks to the Empress. This is why we must help her however we can. Like literally, if she had shown up, but like a minute later, your ass would have been a pancake, a flat dead pancake on the floor, and she would have been like, oh damn, I was too late. Queen Mercia, Sir Emmerich. Empress is visiting the family shrine. She'll be pleased to know you're here. I'll show you to your quarters. Boom. That's that's the cutscene. Now we're going to continue on to the next to last episode, or next to last mission. This is a long one, so this may be broken up into 2 episodes. We will see.
Greetings.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. There's a pressing matter I want to discuss with you all. Our support is eternal like the Empire itself. Does this matter concern... Excuse me? This matter concern the Saffron Isles by any chance? You have spies everywhere. How'd you know about that? Because I'm a queen and you are the Empress, so we have spies in each other's countries even though we're technically at peace and we have an alliance. Sigh. Saffron Islands were my father's first colony. I've yet been able to quell the pirates. Is embarrassing. Pirates? Nothing I can't handle myself. There's nothing more insidious threat on... No, there's a much more insidious threat on my mind. Emmerich, if you recall, it will soon be the 35th anniversary of my parents' murder. Let's do our math here. The battle happened 10 years after the parents got murdered. Okay. But our 35th anniversary of the parents getting murdered. So how old are you? If you were, like, think about this. If you are 5 years old, you have to be 40 now. Okay? And I guess if you were 2 or 1, I guess you could be in your mid-30s now. But I didn't imagine you to be that old. My heart is with you and your family as ever. And mine's with yours. Jerrystone has its own remembrance recently, yes. Merciful. Yeah, he got murdered, that was 10 years ago? Pain lessens year by year, but at last it never leaves for good. Both of you of our loved ones died defending their families from Fellhelm. This is alarming, no? Thank goodness these things are changing now with Valder in charge. Yes, but that's what I wish to discuss with you. That's what I wish to discuss. Forgive me for dwelling on painful topics, but Baldur's top commander killed your father, no? It wasn't his order, we were mistaken, but it still happened under his watch. One of my soldiers killed a foreign leader. Heavensong would never heard the end of it. Yeah, it would be a problem, but if your commander had been acting outside of your orders and unbeknownst to you, while you would hopefully take responsibility for that, you would generally, at least if we're talking maybe not an Eastern philosophy thing, but a Western philosophy thing, would be to distance yourself from the rogue actor, whether or not you were aware of, at least in part, to, if not entirely, of their actions, in order to distance you, the leader of your country, from the what ended up happening, whether that is part of your design or not part of your design. You would probably distance yourself from a rogue actor. Requiem incident has awakened me to the dire threat of ancient artifacts posed to Aurora. Artifacts like Requiem and the Fell Gauntlet. Baldur may be a reasonable man, but what happens when he dies? Yet another bloodthirsty necromancer will take his place, regardless of our treaty. Perhaps. These are all yet to be seen situations. You certainly prepare yourself for the inevitable, particularly if such an event were to occur. However, you would not want to create a situation where you are the reason by which the new bloodthirsty necromancer comes to power. 1,000 years president, Your Highness. The Fell Gauntlet is but one threat to peace. Merchants have reported finding strange ruins in the Gloomwoods. Gloomwoods once held Kakaffi's seat of power. Could you imagine a monster like Sledge with the power on par with the Fell Gauntlet? Also dead. These two people are dead. Both the Vampirus and Sledge are both dead. Need not imagine, Your Highness. Fell King Casper was exactly that. Then you understand I need your help to ensure the safety of the continent. What would you have us do? That's an interesting question. At our next Auroran Alliance Summit, I plan to demand Velders relinquish control of Vel Gauntlet. But in what capacity? If he refuses and becomes hostile, I ask Cherrystone's support in a full invasion of Felhelm. Okay, well this is an interesting quandary. Okay. Now hear me out. We know that Felhelm at this point in the storyline is considered a sort of in Wargroove 1 they pose Felhelm as sort of being the big threat, when it turns out it was actually a person who was trying to resurrect the former Queen Princess of Kunafaki in order to gain or serve her in some capacity power. Anywho, not beside the point. Okay. So here's the question that comes to me. Okay. So you have a thing like the Fell Gauntlet, which is a power that's currently being controlled in a responsible manner. Of course, you're fearing that it falls into the wrong hands when Valder passes away or gets usurped or what have you. I get the threat, but where does the Fell Gauntlet go once you've successfully, provided you successfully invade that land and take it for you take either by diplomacy or by force, you take the Fell Gauntlet from him. What do you do with said Fell Gauntlet? It is a powerful item of powerful magic that calls for a hand to wield it. And it's not a thing that exists without a spiritual thing behind it, which calls to a powerful, in this case, necromancer, to wield control of it, in which case it tries to wield control of that said necromancer.
What?
An invasion, yes, of course, this is a violation of their four nations treaty, them, Felhelm, and the Gloomwoods. Why not? You yourself invaded Felhelm during the Requiem incident. That was different. We thought Valder murdered my father. And I know the Felgotland killed mine. The longer remains in Felhelm, the more opportunity for tragedy. My son Koji is nearly the age I was when I lost everything. Would I have him endure the pain like ours? But the difference is you are forced into this situation, and you're suggesting perhaps to force this same situation onto your son. I have no love of war, Marcia, yet that is what I'm calling for. But with your kingdom's help, it would be a swift affair. That may be true, but then you're putting yourself in a situation where you are currently compelled by a bound unity. First of all, you're bound by a fucking contract of the four nations for balance purposes. What you're suggesting is upending that balance by removing a power from it, and then that is essentially centralizing power around these two, and then once you've eliminated both Felhelm, then you end up in a situation where you find reason to take the for either us to combine forces with the Gloomwood, or to try to force another war upon Gloomwood, in which you split the continent in half, in which you have half and Cherrystone has half. And I don't like this. I understand, but I understand too the Queen's reluctance. Perhaps we approach Valder now and discuss war only if it comes to that. No. That would only give Valder ample time to prepare for his own armies. So you wish to spring this upon him, understanding that the next meeting that you have is not likely to be for tomorrow, but rather down the road here some point, weeks, days, months, maybe even years from now when the next meeting is, and you expect this secret to remain amongst the three of you? I don't think so. By catching him, supplies will save lives of everyone, so you're essentially trying to create a situation where you are prepared for war, you're prepared for war, and should he give a negative answer, you're both going to go in a 2-point war. I don't like this for many reasons. This is not like if Valder and the Empire decided they wanted to invade Cherrystone. This is two human armies deciding that they want to try to invade an army of the undead, which I'm not sure what it takes to raise the undead from the ground. But you have to imagine that Valder would be able to produce more troops faster than you two could replace yours. I suppose you need me to use the Cherrystone blade to destroy the gauntlet. Destroy, that's one option, yes, but there is another, which is, this is tipping her hand, which is terrible. This is terrible in diplomacy, tipping your hand. Please, come with me. So she suggests what essentially is balance, which is to create a situation where you eliminate the Fel Gauntlet, which is a article of power, and by doing so, it leaves the balance between 3 nations instead of 4. Part of my concern about Concarfi artifacts falling in the wrong hands is we've uncovered some artifacts ourselves, including this gateway. A gateway that transports people and objects across vast distances. Instantly, technology like this could revolutionize trade. It's true. Or mobilize armies. That's also true. That's the nature of technology. You have things that are created maybe for like a good purpose, like, for example, nitrite, or how do we put this? The man who helped to create modern fertilizer was also the man whose research, I believe, directly or indirectly created mustard gas, which killed thousands of people in Europe during World War I. It was so bad that not only does the current Geneva Convention disallow use in modern warfare, but it was also a understood agreement of the terms of war for World War II, that essentially if we're agreeing to battle to not use mustard gas, with the understanding that the second that you use mustard gas, I am going to start using mustard gas. And again, we don't want to get back to that situation where mustard gas falls and it flows across the ground, because that's how what mustard gas was designed to. Not like it hits the ground and floats up in the air and then we forget about it. It's designed to sit on the ground and run into trenches, and also would run into villages and towns. So you would have to not only prepare your soldiers, but your other people for the possibility of mustard or gas warfare, which is horrible. My father's empire, our father's legacies would flourish if we could reproduce them. So she's not suggesting at all destroying the technologies. She's suggesting to reproduce them to better, quote unquote, society. But that's not all we found. Look there. This is a weapon that we know. What's that? I don't know. I know not, but I can sense immense power from within. Closer. Closer. I heard them just reaching out. Who knows what lies inside? Perhaps a novel source of energy. Or a terrible weapon. These are both correct. When you find, and well, we live in this world's a magic world, so we don't really worry about digging up. Well, not usually. We don't worry about digging up ancient artifacts from ancient Egyptian or Assyrian or Chinese tombs, only to find out that there's a terrible weapon lying inside of them, other than perhaps for some reason some sort of ancient bacteria that's lying dormant in those vaults that have never dissipated or died. Even a weapon can be used for good. That is why, instead of destroying the Felghan, I propose we study it and all Kanafi artifacts. These are all reasonable arguments, in my opinion, but you don't, you have to understand from the person, at least from the person who has the gauntlet, who's used the gauntlet before, what it does. What is, like, you're talking like an alien spacecraft fell on the Earth, and there's all kinds of unknown technologies to human, okay? And instead of talking, I'm simplifying this argument here for a second. Instead of talking to the aliens that landed the technology on the planet, you decided to put a bullet in their skull and then try to figure out the technology from there, not realizing that perhaps there's some hidden, in this case, magic that tries to corrupt the minds of the user of, in this case, the Fel Gauntlet. And you attempting to study it is not a good idea, because we know from the storyline what the Fel Gauntlet's like, what it does. It's essentially got its own voice, it's got its own spirit, at least up to the point in the game that we're talking about. Now, obviously, something happened in the Felhelm playthrough where that voice and the voice of the other prince that he was in love with may have quelled the voices, and those spirits may have moved on, leaving the power of the Fel Gauntlet without the corrupting force of the spirit behind it. Hard to say. But this is what she's suggesting is dangerous. This research could help the key to bright future of Aurora Arena, which is, of course, the country. This is all logical stuff, but the question is what country holds that Fel Gauntlet to study it. You're suggesting that the technologically advanced faction, you see that in the boats and the dragons. They don't have dragons like they do in the other three. They make machines. You're suggesting your technology should be used to study the Fel Gauntlet to further the prosperity of your people. But when does that change and you see that this is not an advantage for all, but an advantage for you specifically, and then you can use that to, it's the balance of power is what I'm trying to get at. Mercia, please, for my parents, your father, for the future of our people. No. What? I said no, Tenri. You've described what you just described every awful deed wrought by Kanafuki's tools in the wrong hands, but I think we could accomplish. We could conquer new lands. We could protect our allies from the threat of war. Henry, you were there when Requiem promised me safety, protection, my father's love. But it was all a lie. Kanafuki weapons cannot bring safety. They must be destroyed, all of them. Emmerich, reason with her, please. Of course. Emmerich, you can't be considering this. Marcia, please, listen carefully. Run. Emmerich. He pushes her through the teleporter and then destroys it. This morning I was ready to give you anything you needed to keep your family safe. I still intend to do so. Mercy is right. Nothing good comes from Kanafuki magic. You would betray me? Never in my darkest dreams. But what you suggest is insanity. So yeah, we're taking care. We are essentially playing. This feels like the opposite of the first Advance Wars game, where the four nations, the four colored nations, are at war with each other, and they are unified by the fact that the black hole, and this, in the case, what was it? Sturge, I think was the name of the main villain. Strom, something like that. Anyways, his nation, whether he created or he was part of it, was a unifying force between Red Star, Blue Moon, Yellow Comet, Green Earth. That was the unifying factor. The fact that coming into this game, these teams were unified under a treaty, and they seem to have a balance of power. Now we've essentially thrown you not being able to give up the past as a justification for let's just throw that all in the garbage. I'm afraid that the artifact is going to fall in the wrong hands. The only correct hands, of course, are my hands, because I would, of course, use them only for the good of people. You know, sort of like how the Felgauntlet is being used for the good of Felhelm right now, but we're worried that once Felder passes away, the Felgauntlet will fall into the wrong hands, and we don't want that magic in the wrong hands because it may mean war and devastation for future, generations. But by keeping them here under my careful watch, I can guarantee, at least for the duration which I live, that everything will be safe, provided I don't suddenly decide to use this to centralize my power and or expand my empire to the point where then the smaller nations just become conquests for me. Anywho, let's get to the battle here. As you can see, we're going to start out with a nice punch in the face. So ends the strongest alliance of Aurora and the fondest friendship I've ever known. It need not end. Cherrystone will always be here to support you, but not like this. So we are playing essentially Black Hole here. We are going to completely, due to one Empress's insecurity and fear for her child, I'm guessing its future, we are going to upend the alliance that was created to help protect the lands, because we can't get over the fact that our father was murdered by a former lord. And just like that, you're dead. Alright, so we got a couple. Mercia, please spare her. Emmerich. So the point of this mission is we either have to come all the way down here and bring our lords. Well, I kind of spoiled a little bit because like I said, I already played this level before. You have to bring all of your lords. So in this case, there's only one on the board right now. But as we progress through the level, you'll see that some of the other Heaven Song Lord is going to pop up here in a second. But we have to bring all the lords down to this boxed section here, or we have to eliminate all of the enemy leaders. So right now there's only one other one on the board, but after this turn we're going to see that the pirate faction is going to pop up over here. So Always fun, I know. You can tell because they literally gave me this archer who cannot reach here. Not that I'm not sure you can capture regardless, but yeah, annoying, very annoying. Let's see here, what do we want to do? I guess I could create spearmen because we already know it's coming. Let's see here, we're gonna come down here, we're gonna attack you like this. And we're gonna get rid of the dog. And you can't reach there, that's fine. What can you do for me? Can you hit this? You can hit this though. And I should think about as much as I can attack here. Alright, goodbye doggo. Here you can do 40 damage. You can also do 40 damage. 44 damage. 5 damage. Alright. So one of the other things we're gonna... do I not have access to these yet? Oh right, these are conversion ones, they're not... So I'd have to convert. Right, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that, I guess. Maybe a little short, unfortunately, of this guy. 70, you're not gonna reach that, that's okay. 236, 55, he'll be at 1%, okay, that's fine. And then we're gonna take out, work on chipping this down here, because I can't stand it. You can take care of this here, and then, so, unfortunately for Mercia, she's got to literally capture everything on this side of the map. So it's going to take her a while between the 1, 2, 3 guys to begin capturing all this stuff. Plus the computer is not super smart either, so. Wargroove nearly defeated a small army single-handedly. Before I destroy the thing, we must be prepared. For sure. Ships approach from the east. So, like I said, these guys pop up immediately. Pirates now, of all times, you were just pirates. Empress Tamari, I represent the Saffron Isles Liberation Front. The island and its people declare full independence from Hemsong Empire, effective immediately. We've crushed a rebellion before. We'll do it again. You and what army? Navy, I guess. Rota, my empress, will return your errand boy unharmed, provided you agree to begin negotiations immediately. Negotiations, the Empire will not bow to a traitor's demands.
The wind rises!
So she uses her super there to bring him over. The rumors were true. She can't control the wind itself. We've fought worse than a couple fancy fans. So now we have to reach the goal with both of these two. Not just her anymore. So, hooray hooray, as they say.